I'm Christopher Zweig, and this week on CJ at the Movies, I review the made-for-Netflix comedy Senior Year starring Rebel Wilson as a teenager who wakes up from a 20-year coma, Jerrod Carmichael's directorial debut of On the Count of Three, Saturday Night Live's John Mulaney and Andy Samberg as the voice of Chip 'n Dale and Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, and Alex Garland's third directorial position of Men. Let's take a look. Our first movie is Senior Year, the made-for-Netflix would-be comedy about an Australian high school cheerleader in America of 2002 who ends up in a coma and wakes up 20 years in the future. She's first played by Angourie Rice and then Rebel Wilson, who is now slim. She has to adapt to the times even if she still has the mind of a popular girl.
Didn't have the heart to change it.
Madonna's now called Lady Gaga. No. Everybody else has got to go on and live their lives. And what, I'm supposed to just jump forward? I mean, I just found out there is 8 more Fast and Furious movies.
The movie's better half regards to Sam Richardson and Mary Holland as her best friends who try to bring out the best of Wilson, especially since one of them is a teacher and the other is the principal of their school.
You turn high school into a Hogwarts without the magic.
How dare you? It is like Hogwarts with the magic.
I had more fun going like this than this high school.
There's not much that's funny or original in Senior Year. In fact, it seems dated and clueless, dare I say it. There are rivalries, cringing, middle fingers, and fathers telling 40-year-old boyfriends about protective sex like it's supposed to be hilarious. Wilson has proven herself to be a funny actress with the right material, but in this movie, she doesn't have the right material, and she doesn't enlist us with any sympathy for her character. Our next movie is On the Count of Three, the directorial debut of comedian Jerrod Carmichael, who casts himself and Christopher Abbott as two suicidal best friends who decide to end their lives in a double suicide.
I love you, man. You're my best friend.
I love you too, Bob.
On 3.
1, 2, 3.
Jesus Christ, man! I need one more day. You just tried to kill yourself 3 days ago. You had 3 last days.
They decide to settle things with the people they despise, like Henry Winkler as a psychiatrist who molested Abbott as a child, and J.B. Smoove as Carmichael's mean dad, and he even tries to patch things up with his pregnant ex-girlfriend, played by Tiffany Haddish.
Any idea what we should do with our last day?
If I had any ideas, I would have asked you to blow my brains out 35 minutes ago. I'm open.
I was disappointed in the ending, but On the Count of Three is funny, emotional, and poetic in the ways that Carmichael and Abbott present their characters. It's a sad movie about sad characters, and Carmichael balances both genres with a certain aspect that eases you in and allows you to show respect for suicidal people. So check it out! Next up, we have Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, a combination of animation, CGI, stop motion, and live action that has its flaws but is somehow surprisingly entertaining. The movie takes place after the Disney spin-off series got cancelled and Chip and Dale go their separate ways. John Mulaney and Andy Samberg provide the voices for them. To clarify, when they're recording their lines and bickering, they sound like the Disney Chipmunks, and when they're speaking, they sound like Andrew Glauberman and Jake Peralta.
Dale, you look different.
It's no secret I had the CGI surgery. What's been up with you?
You know, this, that, other vague things to fill the space of this conversation.
Cool.
The story involves various toons being abducted and altered for the black market, and the Chipmunks must get back in action. The trailers also spoil the true culprit, a middle-aged Peter Pan, with the voice of Will Arnett.
I was always more of an Alvin and the Chipmunks person. You monster.
Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers obviously doesn't top the miraculous animation and live-action combo of Who Framed Roger Rabbit because of how half the time it looks good and the other half seems flimsy, but it does have an attitude towards reboots, cliches, and even the Rescue Rangers series, and I appreciated Mulaney and Samberg more than I expected to because they're not trying to make the Chipmunks sound cooler, they're just being themselves, and it's kind of fun. And our last movie is Alex Garland's third film, Men, which is also a horror film from A24. Jessie Buckley stars as a woman struggling to move on from her abusive husband's death. She heads over to her house in the countryside to try to clear her mind, but she starts to feel stalked by various men, all portrayed by Roy Kinnear.
Apple from the garden?
Yeah, it was delicious.
No. Mustn't do that. Forbidden fruit.
Oh, God, sorry,
I'm joking.
Oh.
These creeps, portrayed by the same man, start to resonate with the causes and results of her husband's death. How? I can't exactly say.
Feels more like...
Haunted.
Yeah. Something happened. My husband went upstairs to our balcony and let himself go.
You must wonder why you drove him to it.
Why, I didn't drive him to it.
Men is a movie that will leave you in question at how the woman has to deal with the creeps she meets as well as the one from her past. It's a curious film that starts off simple, middles with something strange, and concludes with something otherworldly. The performances from Buckley, Kinnear, and Papa Essiadu as the dead husband are all memorable in the ways that Garland intends to direct them. I'm not sure if certain questions are answered, but it is original and strange to say the least, so check it out. To recap this week's movies, thumbs down for the dated and dumb teen comedy Senior Year with Rebel Wilson waking up from a 20-year coma. Thumbs up for On the Count of Three, which is funny and sad as it portrays two suicidal guys who decide to spend one last day with no limits. Thumbs up for Chippendale Rescue Rangers, a hybrid feature that's better than the trailers make it look. And thumbs up for Alex Garland's strange and questionable horror film Men. Well, those were the movies I'm reviewing this week. I'm Christopher Zweig. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the movies. For more amazing content, please like and subscribe to my channels. You can also read my reviews at cjatthemovies.com and download the new HD Radio app.